All right, here we are, another week around the trash fire. Your host Matthias, along with the boy.
John.
Well, John, we done it. We made it to November. The
We
time has
have.
changed. Now it gets darker a lot earlier, and the
Yeah,
cold
which
weather
is
is coming.
yes. Although there is a come in. Make sure you don't be careful when you use see what was it called? Clear coat, like gloss coat on your models, because could get frosty.
Don't have to worry about that in California. Hopefully, it didn't get cold enough. But coming around, I can't believe the year is almost over.
Yeah,
It's only one more month after this.
right. And then New Year, New Army time.
Yeah, no, don't even get me started on that. I don't need any more 40k armies or AOS armies or
That
any
means
armies.
that means you gotta start a new game.
No, I don't need to start anything. I got plenty of stuff. Okay, I still got my Kickstarter that's in Kickstarter hell coming eventually, and that's gonna have so much minis that is gonna just add to my pile of shame of not painting.
Hmm.
So I don't need any more. I'm good. Though I do need to still. I'm still looking for those chaos spawn. If anyone's got any ideas,
Mm.
I could use them. But let's go ahead and get into this year's commemorative Christmas superstar, a revamp of an old model, and that is the Goff Rocker. Now, did you ever have the old Goff Rockers?
I did not.
I did. Very cool models. Very dated models, obviously, because they're, came out like what, third edition?
It was a while ago, third or second or something.
Yeah. Very, very old models. And here we are, we're getting a revamp of one of the Goff Rockers. We're not getting all three of them, unfortunately, just one of them. And I'm actually hyped to see this model.
Well, that's good because I am not hyped about
What?
this model. Like, there's very few models that I think are like a waste of plastic, and this is one of them, in my opinion. Now, if you want one, go get one. I just don't like this at all. I'm not a fan of the joke models.
Okay, it makes sense, I guess. I like it.
Yeah, it's okay to like it. It's okay to not like it. But it's kind of funny because my gaming group hasn't talked about this model at all. Like, we just kind of forgot it existed. We didn't even post like, "Hey guys, check this out." Just like ignored. I mean, it's cool for the people who like it. It just is not for me. The opposite of what I want in my Warhammer. But that's okay.
Yeah, but they always have a joke model for Christmas.
Oh right, I hate that practice, but you know
True,
what?
I
It's okay.
agree. Because I remember, what was it, the Red Gobbo?
Red Gobbo, the Noise Marine.
Yeah, I remember when the Red Gobbo was out. I was not hyped for that many. But this one's different. I like this one. I think this one has a lot more potential. But I'm happy to see it. And will I pick it up? Probably not. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna pick this model up. But I am happy to see it.
Hmm.
Because I mean, it's just cool. I like it. We got the squig bass or speaker, grenade as a microphone. Ah, it's awesome. I love it. But we can move on from this model. This is pretty much the only. This is pretty much New Model Monday, even though there really is no New Model Monday
That's true. Yeah, there wasn't really a new model Monday.
because they had to release all the other big Christmas gifts. But Sunday preview, we got all the IG stuff coming out.
Yeah, here we go. Imperial Guard.
Getting the battle box with all the new models in it. We getting the command squad, the artillery, Sentinel, and
Man, if the
Acadia
20
Troopers.
guardsmen are $60, that would be amazing. Because this is a pretty big box set for what you get, which I am all for, to be quite honest.
Well, they're not just your standard troops either. They actually have more dynamic poses
Oh yeah,
instead of the normal regimented guardsmen.
yeah, it's super cool. It's super cool.
And they're bigger. They're bigger models. I don't know if
So
you saw the comparison.
I did see, yeah. I mean, they're upscaling everything to be more. I think it's just upscaling all the models ever since Necromunda first came out. Well, the current iteration Necromunda, I think that was the sign that humans are going to be this size.
I mean, I'd say get more detail on them.
Right.
Gotta
And it's a cool
upscale them.
squad, depending on. I don't know. I'm tempted to make a veteran guardsman kill team out of these Cadians, even though I already have Kazarkin, just as a fun hobby project. But I don't know if I'll actually do it. But yeah, there's a lot of
Time
cool
will
bits
tell.
here.
Time will tell if you will do that project or not.
Yes.
Getting that. The Goff Rocker, we already gave our thoughts on that. Warhammer Fest coming in April 29th. So in Manchester, if you want to get tickets for that, I guess. A bit early, but you know, Warhammer's big enough they could probably sell out their tickets fast enough. Those tickets do go on sale this Friday, the 11th. So if you want it, grab it. I'm not gonna be there, I'll tell you that much. Forge World, we got our Doomside Squadron coming for Aeronautica. Wait, is that the right thing? Did I say it right?
Yeah, it's for Aeronautica.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know there's another aerial game. I just couldn't remember if that was it or if this was Aeronautica.
Yeah, this is Aeronautica. Yay.
Yay!
Aeronautica.
And that's all we're getting from that. White Dwarf, we're getting exclusive Warcry dashboard. New
Another
Necron
Necron.
Armies of Renown.
Yeah, interesting.
I believe that's the demo. It's the one I
Oh my
mentioned
god.
like two podcasts ago.
Yeah, I just realized they're gonna have Warcry rules for the Gnarlwood warbands. Oh, damn it.
Of course they are. And
Oh,
two
lots of
bashing some
games.
Darktide models. It's interesting.
Maybe I'll pick this up because there's a bunch of free games that come with it. I don't know. We'll see.
We shall see. We got that Black Library, Katie and Blood Special Edition book coming out. Can't tell you anything about it really because I haven't read it.
It is ADB, so it's probably gonna be good.
There you go. The ADB stamp of approval. Got Dan Ammon's Gaunt's Ghost Omnibus. I hear good things about it. But we got that. Book 2. Krieg paperback. I've yet to go into this book yet. What else we getting? We're getting The Witchbringer on digital and paperback. Digabo's Demise. Care about joke books? I'm sure this is what this is. Probably could have just made it into like a graphic novel, but whatever. Audiobook, Battle of the Fang.
Chris Rate, stamp of approval. Good author.
Good author, alright. The Age of Sigmar character E-Shorts. Don't really know anything about it. I just assume it's gonna go over specific characters from each realm.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Yeah. Sancadia, coming French. Other French and German translations. And Warhammer Plus. Battle report of Age of Sigmar. The new Slaves of Darkness. and learning how to paint camouflage if you're into that. That is that. That is the Sunday preview. It was nice and short, I would say. Had not too much to catch the eye compared to the other things we're going to be talking about today. Like Heresy Thursday, where we got I don't know, what do we have? As some Deimos Planet Pattern Rhino?
No, it is the Whirlwind Scorpius, which is just a better Whirlwind. And it's kind of cool that they're releasing this model because it's a variant of the Rhino chassis, which we already have a model for with the Rhino and the Predator. So I'm glad that they're just, probably just adding a plastic upgrade sprue with the top hatch and the missile turret to add to the Rhino, and bam, you got a Whirlwind Scorpius. Now this is a pretty powerful unit in 30k. Because it has the rule where I think they highlighted in the article, where if you stand still, you get rending on your blast weapon, which is pretty good. Rending 4 up.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
So what makes it different from a normal Whirlwind?
It gets rending on its artillery barrage. Like, literally, that's the only difference, is it could do the rending rule, which is pretty powerful against Space Marines. Forces your opponent to, and I think it's small blast. I don't know off the top of my head if it's small or large blast. The last edition was small blast. Maybe it's large blast now. But I'm thinking of, this is something on my wish list for sure. It's a nice unit you just deploy in a good spot, just kind of fire and forget, and it just kills things. So, and it just looks kind of cool, that kind of classic 30k feel to the Whirlwind turret.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, glad that they're still announcing new models, not just upgrades. I do wish they would have more infantry. Right now we only have the tac squad and the weapons that could make the support and heavy support squad. It'd be nice if they had
A box
an assault
dedicated.
squad, a spoiler squad, a breacher squad, stuff like that. Plastic jet bikes would be the dream, but I can imagine it's a bigger release, maybe sometime next year.
Maybe.
But even then, it's cool.
Speaking of big releases, I'm going to change it a little bit here. We got the I have to scroll all the way back up here. The AOS battle boxes. The big battle boxes.
Yeah.
Figured we go over these a little bit. Starting with our good ones, the Daughters of Cain.
Yes.
It seems like with these battle boxes, they're going to be including one big centerpiece.
Which is, I think, great.
Yeah? Looking at Daughters of Cain, we got Doom Reavers, I believe is what they're called. The Melusai, the Altar of Cain, 10 Witches, and Kaari? Is that how I'd say those things?
Canary?
Canari.
Yeah. The Harpies.
Yep.
Harpy-like units.
I think it's a pretty solid box. Though I had never used the Altar of Cain, so I cannot say how good it is, but everything else in the box, pretty good. Which is to go get some objectives. Doom Reavers, or Doom Fire Warlocks, that's what they're called. Have a pretty nasty spell, especially if you have 10 or 15 of them. Just doing an automatic 6 mortal wounds is always nice. I don't know if the Melusai have alternates or if they're just going to be the spear versions, but
No, they're gonna have alternates.
Okay.
None of these kits kind of yeah, all of these kits are gonna be multi-kits.
Okay, so
yeah, all of
yeah.
the sprues are integrated, so no
So,
worries
yeah.
there if you're wanting the arrow version, because they will come in the box. Also the other version of the Canary.
Yeah, so solid box. Especially since this is pretty much all of the Daughters of Cain, minus Morathi. Moving on, we got Cruel Boys. I don't know the name of everything in here, but we got the archers, pretty much everything from the AOS starter box plus the character on the giant bird.
Yeah, although I believe this is the multi kit. Also, it has the swamp color or the swamp, yeah, the sludge raker beast on the back left there.
Yeah, you got that in the. Wasn't that the character on the beast, or
No,
was that
no, no,
no?
no. The character you get was just a cavalry guy. This is more of a monster.
Got it. Uh, which will was here? What would you say? Is this a good buy or is this just?
I mean, in my opinion, all these battle forces are a good buy because rules change. And in terms of value, this is probably a value deal. Now, if you're starting Cruel Boys, probably better to just get Dominion somewhere because you just get way more stuff for the price of this, I'm sure. But if
Sure.
you already have Dominion or you already have some starter sets from AOS, this is a good second purchase. I believe a lot of these battle forces are good second purchases to the combat patrol, especially with the 40k ones. But this would be a good one to add if you already have Cruel Boys. Now, to start Cruel Boys, like I mentioned earlier, it would be better probably just get the actual two-player starter sets, and I think the same goes for the Stormcast that we're going to see later.
Yep. Well, let's see what we got here. Next up, we got the stampeding squiggle-ench.
Yeah,
Again, not too familiar with it, but I am surprised you're doing more orcs here.
these are goblins, sir.
Whatever, they're green skins.
Well, in AOS, orcs and goblins are different armies.
True. So we got 10 squig hoppers, 12 strong squid herds, and a lot of
A lot of squigs.
squigs. A lot of baby squigs there. So if you're looking to start a squig army, here you go. Moving on, we got Skaven. We got the good old Gracier on the Screaming Bell. Warlock, Bombardier, 3 Storm Fiends, 40 Clan Rats, 40 Plague Monks. And that's a lot of rats.
A lot of stuff, and definitely Skaven benefit from being an older, cheaper kit because you get a ton of them here. It's 80 infantry plus the characters and the Storm Fiends. Yeah, it's a lot of models here,
Yeah,
especially compared to the others where you don't get freaking 80 infantry.
Yeah, well, it's good quality here. Nighthaunt, Legion of Grief. Let's see what we get out of this one. Lady Olander. Goodbye. Monarch of sorry, that's her full title. Monarch of Grief. Black Coach. 10 Blade Guys. 10 Dread Sights. 10 Grimgas Reapers. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, I think this is with the new book. This is really good stuff.
Yeah. Nice hard hitting units. And of course Lady Olander. Can't go wrong with her. That's my hero. Cool. So we got in there. I would say this is a good deal. I think my problem with the battle forces is you can't really buy multiple.
Yes, definitely. There's actually that's an easy way to judge how really good something is if you can buy multiple. The previous ones, maybe the orc one is kind of overkill if you buy multiple of. Daughters of Cain one, you should probably, if you're going ham on Daughters of Cain, it's worth buying 2 of those. Same for the squigs. You know, if you really like squigs, it's worth buying 2. Otherwise, you can just add on some goblin stuff there. Skaven one, I mean, it's already a lot of models, but if you want more Skaven, another great buy. Yeah, this one though, the Nighthaunt one, you only get one Lady Allender.
Yep.
So
that's
the rest, though, I mean, if you're willing to sell Lady Allender or something, then probably worth getting 2. because multiples of these units are good, but you do get that character that's named, so you can't really have multiple of her.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Moving on to good old Sylvaneth. The trees. We're getting Dryaka, Hamadirth,
Yeah, Yep, the new Dryka.
and 2 Tree Lords, which of course have alternates. 10 Spirit Revenants, 16 Sylvaneth Dryads. So, again, unfortunately, you have a named character in here.
Yeah. A great add-on though to the Vanguard box, which has Kernel Hunters and a Tree Lord. You'll have a lot of Tree Lords, but I mean, it's AOS. Have more monsters.
Yeah. I wish they had more of that new stuff that they showed. You know, with like the bugs and everything. Kind of wish they were in here.
I did notice though, I was talking to some friends earlier that none of the battle forces have stuff that was released this year in them.
Yeah, I noticed that too. But oh well. Oops. Where's my phone? All right. Moving on, we got the Stormcasts, which are what do we got here? Night Reflector, 3 heavy armed annihilators, 10 vanquishers, 10 vigils, and some storm drake guards. Here's your new models
From last year.
from last year. Yeah, I guess you're right.
But this is a good one just because it's units that aren't in the starter sets. I guess minus the annihilators, but I think these are armed differently than the ones in the starter set. This is definitely an excellent addition to the starter sets. And unlike the not goblin, unlike the orc one, swamp orc one, this is a good buy if you want to start Stormcast. I would say if you really like dragons, this is a great buy. But if you're unsure, I would still recommend starting with the starter sets, just because you just get more models there for a cheaper price. They are not multi kits unlike these ones, but you do get more.
True. And that is it. That is it for the fantasy one. So a lot of good deals in this one. But
Yeah,
special characters do ruin some of the boxes, which 40k has some of those. But as you said, you know, if you can somehow sell off the special character, a lot of these are good buys.
yeah.
But of course, 40k has the same thing with the 8 incredible boxes here. Just gonna go right down the middle. We got the Adeptus Sororitas. I feel like we've seen this box before. I swear they've sold this box before. But going over it, we got 6 Paragon Warsuits, 5 Elite Celestine Sacrosands, and a Battle Sister Squad, and Morven Vol. I'm trying to think. Are the Paragon Warsuits? I think they're good. I think they're still played. A pain in the ass to build, but
I can imagine.
Morven Vol is good. But you know, you got the problem with this one is, you know, you gotta, if you want to buy multiple, you gotta sell Morven Vol. I don't think you'd really want to buy 2 boxes of this, to be honest.
Yeah.
I
don't think sisters have. Oh, they do have a combat patrol. Yeah, this is something to get with the combat patrol, not multiples of. I think.
I would agree with that. I would get this with a combat patrol. So take it as you will. That's what we do there. Custodes. We got Trajan. We got 3 Virtus Praetors on the jet bikes. 3 Indomitable Aloris Custodians, and 15 Custodian Guard. I mean, this is pretty much a Custodian army right here.
Yeah,
All in
also
this
an
one
excellent
box.
buy for Heresy, which we'll talk about later. But this is if you want to start Custodies in 30K.
This is a
But
good buy.
you'll make if you do that, you'll make no friends in the community. But if you want to do it anyway, this is a
Well,
good buy.
now I gotta know. Why wouldn't I make any friends?
I'll tell you later.
You tell me later. All
Tell you
right.
later when we go over the Liber Imperium stuff.
All right. Going into Mechanicus. We got Belisarius Call, deadly pair of Castellan robots, 6 Cataphren destroyers, and a unit of Skitari Vanguard. No, I'm not feeling this box. I don't think this is a good buy, in my opinion.
I wish they had the horses.
I think they need more Skitari troops, to be honest.
Yeah, because the Vanguard already has 3 servitors, or the combat patrol, excuse me, and rangers, but 6 more servitors is a lot. I mean, yeah, they're troops, but wish they would have different stuff, or like more Skitari or something.
Yeah, I would say this one's a pass. Buy it
However,
if you want, but I don't think this is good.
however, if you
Unless you really
wanna
want the models.
if you wanna kind of start 30K with these models, you can, because these are actually all the 30K, all the Mechanicus units in 40K that you could kind of use in 30K. Because the Castellans you could use as Castellax. The Tech Priests and Belisarius are super easy to use as Archmagoses. That's not even a question. Those are 100% valid. Skitari Rangers could be used as Tech Thralls or Titan Guard, because the Skitari Titan Guard can be equipped with the Vanguard weapons. So you do got to build a Vanguard configuration for that unit with the Radium Carbines, but you could use those in 30K. And the Cataphrons you could probably counts as Myrmidon Destructors with their heavy weapons, because they're about the same size, more or less. So if want to start 30K with Mechanicus or Mechanicum, and just and your community is not a bunch of diehard Australians that only will accept Forge World models, this is a great box.
Didn't know. Knights, Imperial Knights. I mean, it's pretty much what I expect. One big knight and a bunch of little knights there.
Also, 110% usable in Horus Heresy. This is actually a legal knight army, because knights require 2 armigers, I think, per big knight. So there you go. You got 4 armigers and a big knight. I mean, you're gonna get stomped every game because knights are garbage in Heresy, in my opinion. But you could play with them.
But if you don't want a lot of models, this
Yes,
is the army for you.
And you want to lose every game. And here we go.
Go. We got that. Death Guard. We got Martarian, 5 Light Lord Terminators, 14 Plague Marines, and that's pretty much it. If you don't have Morty, I would pick this box up.
Yeah. Like, regardless of if Morty's good or not, it's a Primarch, and I think I'll say the same with the Thousand Sun Zombie. You probably have more input, but just if you play this army, you kind of need that model just because it's such a centerpiece of that army. I mean, it's gonna be a great hobby project. If he sucks, you could look cool on yourself. But it's if you want to play Death Guard, this is like most of their iconic units minus the Death Shroud. So here
I'm
you go.
sure 10th edition, the Primarchs will be good.
Yes.
And they won't be one-shotted off the table.
Yes.
But until then, I mean, all these are solid units. The Terminators, the Plague Marines. I wish they had a little bit more variety, but it's whatever. You're getting a lot of Plague Marines out of it. And the Terminators are always a good deal. Moving on to my army here, 1,000 Suns.
If you want to do Siege of Terra Death Guard for their 30k, once Mortarion gets rules, you could stock up on this box and then wait 10 years before those rules come out.
My army, the 1,000 Suns. All right, I'm liking what I'm seeing here. Magnus the Red. 3 Exalted Sorcerers. And 20 Rubric Marines. Not bad. I think we could have. I mean, I'd rather have Rubric Marines than Zangors, but no, I think this is fine. Honestly, I probably would want more like Terminators, if anything, to be put in here. But 20 Rubric Marines, I mean, that's 4 squads of 5. That's not bad to have. 3 Exalted Sorcerers. Will you use 3 Exalted Sorcerers? Most likely not. You'll probably use like 1, and then Arimon, and maybe the Inferno Master could have been in here. But it's not bad. And that's pretty much all I can really say about it. It's not terrible, but it's not bad either. So there's my middling review on the 1,000 Suns. Obviously, you would sell Magnus if you were buying 2 of these.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And maybe even the Exalted Sorcerers, if I'm being honest. But I don't know, if you're creative enough, you can probably make some cool sorcerers out of those Exalted Sorcerers. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard to say, but it's okay. It's middling. Like the 1,000 Suns are performing. Moving on, Imperial Fist. We got Torgadon, Garadon. There we go. Primaris Aggressors, 15 Heavy Intercessors, and that's about it. Aggressors haven't been relevant since 8th edition. Heavy Intercessors are... I don't think anyone takes Heavy Intercessors, to be honest.
I mean, Space Marines are kind of garbage right now in the competitive scene. So, I mean, if you really like Heavy Intercessors, this is a great box. Actually, if I was forced to buy one of these battle forces, this would be probably the one I'd get, because I have none of these models except for the Aggressors.
Yeah,
But it's just because I don't have these models, and Heavy Intercessors are cool, right? But yeah, I don't think they're that good. But if you think they're cool, please. If actually we have one guy in our gaming group who really likes Heavy Intercessors, this would be perfect for him.
There you go. Well, let's see how the Raven Guard fare out. We got Strike. We got Librarian Phobos armor, 10 Reavers, 2 Invictor tactical war suits, and 3 Eliminators.
Remember how I was saying that you should get cool models because eventually, the rules change?
Yes.
Well, Reavers have always been just garbage. So this is the exception to that statement for me. Like war suits, they're whatever right now, but if you like them, they're not up, they were good at one point, so I can see them being good again. A Librarian's always good. If you play Raven Guard, Strike is a thing because he's the chapter master. Eliminators are good. I saw this Blood Angel list that won a big tournament recently with Eliminators. But yeah, Reavers are just terrible. Yeah. And you got 10 of them here.
Good.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they will be in 10th, but I don't know. They've been bad for so long.
So I think if I compare, I think last year we said the AOS box sets were pretty bad compared to the 40k box sets, but I remember the 40k box sets not being that good either.
No, no, I think the AOS ones we said were good. I was actually contemplating buying some of them
Hmm.
because it's the
It's
one with the Bone Reapers. The Elf one was amazing. That one I kind of wish I got, but it's okay because regular AOS Empire is coming, and that's my army. But
okay. Your memory must be better than mine. In that
I just
case,
remember,
I think the results are the same. I think the AOS box sets are a lot better than the 40k box sets.
yeah, I think consistently the AOS boxes have just been better than 40k. AOS is just a better balanced game for some reason with a better app. So I don't know. There's that. And they have better boxes as a result of being a better game. So
Can't argue with that logic. I mean, that makes sense to me. But yeah, there we go. That is it in terms of the GW articles. I know you had something you wanted to say regarding 30k.
yeah, so the Liber Imperium book came up for pre-order in everywhere outside North America. But that also means that review copies were sent out. So we have access to the whole book if you're willing to watch through, 2 hour long YouTube interviews or watch reading articles that analyze it. And so far it's a good book if you play, well, unless you like assassins, then it sucks. But if you
Well,
play
there goes my
Custodian
assassin army.
Sisters or Solar Ox especially, it's a great book. Now it does suffer from lots of the rules inconsistencies that 30k is plagued in general, so nothing special there. An example is there's a Sisters Apothecary unit, and they kind of function like Space Marine Apothecaries, where the unit they're in gets feel no pain. But I think they're like unlike Space Marine Apothecaries. So Space Marine Apothecaries, you attach them to a unit when you're building your army list, and they can't leave. Because in 7th edition, you could independent characters could leave units, but apothecaries are just attached to the unit, and you can only attach them to specific units. Now, the Sisters Apothecaries, I believe, are independent characters, so they can just join any unit. And because they're agents of the Emperor, they can join any loyalist unit with no restriction. So you could have, if you play Dark Angels, you have those super Deathwing Terminators or the Cenobium. You could attach that, Sisters unit to them, and then now they have Feel No Pain. If you play Salamanders and you really want Feel No Pain on your several Fire Drake squads, you can. And worst of all, you could give Feel No Pain to your blob of 10 Custodian Guard, which is ridiculous. That is all the result of just unclear rules of writing. So the book is plagued with stuff like that, but that's just par for the course for 30k.
Well, I mean,
Oh yeah,
GW is a small indie company. You gotta give them slack, okay?
oh yeah, Forge World is like that. You gotta give them slack.
They don't have people that could just review these rules and
I know, right?
read the books. That's come on. That costs money.
Right. But yeah, all the armies are good. Assassins just kind of get shafted because they have a form invul, but they have 2 wounds, maybe 3 for some of them. So the best one is the Eversor. The Eversor is great, but everyone else just kind of sucks.
Did they
Like,
include the 40k assassins or no?
yes, they did. That's why the Eversor is the best one because the Eversor will do its job, and that's it. Everything else just kind of doesn't really do its job. They don't put out enough damage to justify their points cost. Like the Vindicare, is pretty good. It has a super sniper rifle with like a billion range, but he has no way of taking, and on a 5 up to wound, it's instant death, but he has no way of ignoring invuls. And yeah, so most characters you want to shoot the Vindicare at to make his points back have an invulnerable save. And if you want to snipe sergeants, you might as well just pay like 50 points less for a Space Marine sniper squad, which will do the exact same job. So he kind of sucks. The Calidus doesn't, the Calidus is kind of cool. She has this role where she can't be attacked the whole game until she attacks you first. But her damage output is pretty terrible. That's the thing with the assassins is they'll probably die after they fight. because they're just so squishy. Like on average, an assassin squad will die to Overwatch, or sorry, an assassin will die to Overwatch against Space Marine, like attack squad, just because of how squishy they are. So assassins kind of suck. Now, if you like to include them, feel free. They're not like game breakingly bad. They're just not as cool as they would be, as you would imagine an assassin would be. Solar Ox, pretty good. Lots of restructuring on how the army works. They have things where they can have kind of like the old guard codex. If you remember, you had platoons that essentially had multiple squads count as a single choice. Well, now they count as what's called a tertio, so they can like share reactions, they can share rules, stuff like that. And they seem pretty fun. Like I'm actually tempted to start a Solar Ox army just because of how fun the rules are. And you could customize your army depending on the theme. They could be, veterans of a Great Crusade. They could be pumped up with alchem drugs. They could be, excuse me, like just fresh recruits that you could get more of and stuff. You could have armored companies with just all tanks. So they're super cool. Sisters are great. They have a lot of different units. Although interestingly, Ember, we talked last time about how the table of content shows a bunch of new sisters units. Essentially, they're just sister squads with different weapons. Like there's a sister squad with a bolter, a sister squad with a sword, sister squad with a flamer. In 40k, that's just different equipment for the one squad. But in 30k, they're separate squads. And you have the sisters, the double bolt pistols, and then you got your veteran sisters. They did mention a unit of sisters on jet bikes, which we don't have models for, so we could expect that coming eventually.
Interesting.
Everything else is pretty much standard. Although it's funny because Janicia Kroll, the leader of the Sisters of Silence, probably the best non-Primarch challenger in the game, because she has this rule where she picks someone she's fighting to have weapon skill 1. So Sigismund will lose to her in 1v1. Savitar will lose to her. All these guys will lose to her 1v1 just because she's like, oh, your weapon skill 1. And the only reason she can't be Primarchs is that rule can't be used against Primarchs.
Hmm.
Yeah, if you're a Sisters fan, their expanded army list, they got the drill, they got the Karen Inquisitor, they got all this cool stuff, and it's a good time. It's a good time to be excited as a Sisters player. And then we got Custodes, and oh boy, oh my
Yes. Now
god.
tell me why they're so hated.
So if you play Custodes like a balanced army, it's not that bad. Like their shooting is actually okay. It's not their shooting's not too powerful like last edition, but their melee, oh man, like a basic Custodes squad will probably delete any Legion unit that doesn't have a Primarch because they have movement 8, which means they get +1 to charge in 30k. Because depending on your movements, and you get charge bonuses, you get +1 to charge. And in 30k, when you run, you just add your initiative value. So Custodians run 12 inches because they have initiative 5. They have 4 attacks each, which is 5 on the charge. They have a 2-up save. Now, they do have a 6-up invul for the basic squad, which is not that great. But it's not, I mean, that's their biggest weakness. In fact, that's their only weakness. They have 2 wounds, which in 30k is a big deal because most things don't have 2 wounds. And, strength, toughness 5, which is pretty standard for Custodes. And in 30k, I could probably count the amount of strength 10 weapons that aren't in super heavies on one hand. So you'll be hard pressed. And actually, there's only like one strength 10 weapon that isn't on a super heavy that's also AP2, which is the giant last cannon on my Thanatar. I don't think Space Marines have access to like a strength 10 gun with AP2 or 1 that's not a super heavy because the Vindicator is AP3 with rending. So is the Typhon AP3 with rending.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's not you can't really reliably instant kill them. They have the skirmish rule, which means their coherency is 3 inches apart, and they get +1 to cover saves. So earlier I was saying, oh, they have a 6-up invul. Well, if you're smart with cover, you'll have a 5-up cover save against shooting, which will protect, which is the same as a 5-up invul. So you got to play a little bit smart to get that 5-up shrug against shooting. They also have what was I gonna say? They because of the 3-inch coherency. That means they're pretty much immune, not immune, but like blast weapons aren't that good against them because if you spread them apart smartly, you'll like one blast marker will only hit one custodian. A large blast may hit two or three. Plus for space marines, it could hit more. So goodbye using blast weapons. Not that there's a lot of AP2 blast weapons anyway. And this is just your basic squad. And once you get into melee, good luck because they have weapon skill 5, which means everything except elite units are hitting them on 5s because most things are weapon skill 4. They have, again, like I mentioned, 4 attacks, 5 on the charge, all AP2, regardless of what weapon you give. The axe is strength 8, AP2, initiative 1. The sword is just strength user AP2. The spear is like strength +1, AP2. So everything's getting deleted without an armor save. And they have initiative 5, so they swing before you. So you gotta. They're probably. And most things, except for Emperor's Children, don't have initiative 5, except, well, characters, obviously, but not basic squads. So the. So that's kind of just. I mean, it's fluffy, but it's also just because the way of how combat works on 30k with initiative and weapon skill charge and all that, you just can't beat them in melee as a Space Marine army. There is no Space Marine army that will beat a custodian army in melee, even World Eaters. Even if we have like 20 World Eaters, because they strike second and they're ignoring your armor saves. Now if you have an apothecary, then you have the 5-up feel no pain. Okay, you have a chance, but they're hitting you on 3s, you're hitting them on 5s. Um, I saw a battle report where a squad of veterans killed squad of custodians, but it was like 3 custodians against like 15 veterans, or sorry, 10 veterans with lightning claws. So that and the custodians cost like 150 points, and the veterans cost like 300, and they barely win the fight. Yeah, like this army is kind of gross in melee. Now, as a balanced army, there's ways of beating them. Like you could definitely outshoot them. But if you're like Space Wolves or World Eaters, you might as well pack up because you can't beat them in melee. They'll just kill you before you get to swing. I was actually debating going on the competitive 30k event at LVO and just bringing Valdor, a shield captain, and like 50 custodians and just walking forward. I mean, can you chew through 100 wounds with 2 up, 6 up, 5 up if I'm in cover, right? And if it's a good cover, it's a 4 up. And then once I reach melee, it's GG. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, all the custodians have melta bombs just cause. So they delete vehicles with that they touch, and dreadnoughts also suffer from melta bombs. So there's that. It's just, yeah, I mean, it's fluffy, but like I was joking earlier, if you want to start custodians, prepare not have friends, because yeah, like the moment you reach melee, you just win. Unless it's heavily skewed in your favor, like again, you're being charged by like 15 Terminators and you have 5 custodians, then maybe you have a chance, right? But otherwise, you're just dead.
Yeah, that sounds like old custodians to me.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
And
locking
the
them and
big
killing.
thing too that I really want to emphasize why they're strong is not just their rules, but just how the meta and how the game is for 30k. Like there's not a lot of ranged AP2 weapons, especially with the nerf to artillery. So in 30k in second edition, a lot of artillery got reduced from flat AP2 to just AP4 or 5, but they have rending. So it's AP2 on like a 6 to wound, which does make it less insane against Space Marines, right? And I'm glad I was playing a game last weekend and I got shot by pipe plates and didn't instantly delete me. But if you're custodians, when that was the only reliable way of killing swathes of them, you don't have that tool anymore. Like 10 last cannons on average kills 2 custodians. you know. So yeah, crazy times, golden boys.
On the golden bananas seem to be dominating like always. So
Yeah.
interesting. That's all from the new book.
Yeah, it's all from the Liber Imperium, which is out for pre-order outside the United States.
Why is it outside the United States?
I don't know. The Mechanicum books had the same issue where it was delayed like 2, 3 weeks or something. But I mean, I have no rush of getting this. I mean, I have some custodians. I might actually use them, and they're actually pretty solid as a like. If you like custodians, they're actually not that bad as an allied detachment. to your loyalist legion because if you just bring in 3 to 5 custodians and a captain, they're not as insane as 30 bodies and your tanks that support you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, very cool. Any other news you want to talk about?
that's it for news in terms of the wargaming scene.
All right, then. Well, then I guess it's hobby rant time. Did you do any hobbying?
I did a bit. I finished painting Boba Fett last week. Yes.
Oh, was that last week? I thought that was two.
Was it 2 weeks ago? Maybe it was 2 weeks ago. No, I think it was last week because yeah, no, it was last week because 2 weeks ago I didn't have him ready yet because I didn't set up my Empire army yet for Legion.
Hmm.
But I did a lot of wargaming last week. I played 30K on Friday. I was talking about it a bit earlier. I played my Blood Angels against Donnie's Death Guard with Alpha Legion allies. That was a fun one. I did take the win because he just didn't have anything that could deal with dreadnoughts. Now by the end of the game, I had about 3 infantry left. No, sorry, not three. That's 6 infantry. There we go. About 6 infantry left. But all my dreadnoughts were alive. My Leviathans, took a total of 1 wound between the two of them. My Contemptors took about half damage between the two of them. And they just kind of smashed the Death Guard. I mean, he had a gun line, and I had a melee army, so I just essentially walked forward. Actually, my Leviathans had guns, but I had an assault squad, some Dawnbreakers, and I had some Contemptors with jump packs. So essentially, just trying to get forward. I did call for night fighting because I needed that range reduction turn one, and that kind of gave me the edge to just. And he was actually winning on objectives early on, but I think midway I just slaughtered the Death Guard in melee, and that was it. So that was fun. Played a bunch of Legion. I played 2 games with my 800-point Empire list, and I played a skirmish game. But
Empire.
I'm playing Empire for 800 points because I really like double bounty now, and Empire Boba Fett is super fun. So I do Boba Fett, IG-88, Shore Troopers, Inferno Squad, Iden, and yeah, it's been a fun time. I think
Oh,
I have
I'm
like
glad you
5
came to
bounty tokens.
the good guy side.
There you go. The good guys. But yeah, so yeah, got 2 wins with that list. Trying to practice with that list for the December tournament. So hopefully we don't see any major rules changes until then that nerfs the army. But I doubt it. So
I see. Well, I didn't do anything. My gaming group all had something to go do on our gaming day, so kind of just sat, relaxed, and did minimal hobbying.
Mm.
Think I built like a couple of the kill team, the Necron kill team,
Oh, okay.
and that was about it.
Yeah, it's a start.
Yeah, I could have done more, but I was super lazy. But other than that, I feel like as the holidays start coming around, my grind set uh starts kicking in more. So I'll definitely be having a lot more models done here soon. Because my brain tells me it's time to start paying all these models or building these models so you can have some free space.
Mm.
So grind set is kicking in,
There you go.
especially since I gotta get my 40K games in for the practice of Legion. Or not Legion,
There you
sorry.
go. Love you.
LVO. I don't know
Yeah.
why I said Legion. Must have Star Wars on the brain. But yeah, very underwhelming. But that's all I've got. Really. Anything else you want to add?
I think that's it.
All right then. Well, I'd like to thank everyone who made it to the end, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.